where'd you get your start in swimming? Kind of where was this, what sports did you play growing up? I need to know where the foundation was built.
Going way back.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah, I mean, swimming's one of those sports where it's pretty rare, and as you know, which is great, usually you're swimming for such a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, every kid is usually starting just in a summer club or in grandma's pool, and then kind of from 3 or 4 and then continue to go on, and it grows and grows and grows. And that was definitely my track. I played other sports. I did football, I did lacrosse, basketball, you name it. I did them all. Swimming's one that just kind of spoke to me, I guess, in a sense, and I started to find some success in. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'll do it.
Yeah.
But no, it started way back. My grandma had a pool. I was swimming by the time I was 3. And my parents just kept putting me in swim lessons and swim teams because it wore me out. I had a lot of energy as a kid, so I think that's why my mom liked it, because I would come home tired. But no, I kind of swam all the way through, swam in high school and back in North Canton, Ohio, and then obviously, as you mentioned, I came here and it brought me to Oakland. So.
Yeah, and for those who don't understand kind of swimming, you are just kind of looking at the black line for 3 hours and you're alone with your thoughts. But what is it about swimming that is so satisfying? Why do you keep coming back? Why do you love the sport so much?
Yeah, honestly, I think swimming is, I mean, it can be white collar in a summer club, but it's a blue collar sport. It is a sport where you put the time in, and typically you get that out of it. And that's what I loved about it. Obviously, you can have talent and you can have skills that may be better. I was a shorter guy. A lot of swimmers, the great swimmers, are really, really tall with really long arms. But it still is one of those sports. If I can outwork some of those people, I can probably be a little bit faster, And so that's what I fell in love with. I got addicted to this idea that what I put in is what I get out, and it's why I enjoy coaching, because it's the same way. It's what you put in is what you're going to get out of it. So that's kind of what drew me to it. The black line, it's tough. The hardest thing for me, and is trying to jump in the water at 6 a.m. It's just I still don't miss that. I was up in Alpena for the July 4th, and we were like, hey, let's go to a little morning 8 o'clock swim, and it still took me 15 minutes to get in the water. So I still don't like this part of it.
It's as if there's piranhas in there. You don't want to get it. The cold shock is so bad.
Exactly.
Kick it in.
No, so again, every sport does, but I think the best part of swimming is what you put in is what you get out.
And then kind of continuing through your swimming career, like most swimmers, it's more or less a lifetime sport.
Yeah, for sure.
At what point in your swimming career did you realize, oh, I'm really good at this? College is even an option for me. Division I level of swimming. At what point did you realize, hey, I can keep going with this?
Yeah, I think it was some point in high school. I had a really good season one year and it clicked. And again, that kind of fed my addiction to wanting to get better, because all of a sudden I started to see some results. So I think it's probably my sophomore, junior year. I think I got some national cuts. I think it was an All-American or something. And then I was like, wow, I could do something with this, and I could take this to another level, which it seems so big and so far, and I was never thought it would be an actual thing to happen, and obviously some things paid off. So
yeah, and when you get to that kind of high point, let's say the stratosphere of swimming, does it ever, do you come to that realization, I'm one of the best in the nation, or I'm among this limited group of swimmers? Because I didn't reach that kind of hype, but is it strange to think about, or were you kind of in the moment with it?
Yeah, I think in the moment with it for sure, because I think it's, again, the sport of swimming, and we saw it at Olympic trials, when we took our swimmers, you think you're really good in a certain area, right? So state of Ohio, I swam really well. Then I go to a national meet, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm not that good, right? And
you found out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, I was more in the moment of it all, and definitely just wanted to get better for myself and try to improve as a swimmer. But again, I think you think you're really good, so you go to another level. And again, then it's back to work.
No doubt. And then how did you decide to go to Oakland? What was your path? All this high school swimming, you get all these cuts. How did Oakland find you, or you find Oakland? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I had a couple connections to Oakland. I had one of my role models that I watched growing up was actually recruited by Pete. He was one of the best in the state. Again, I was in 3rd grade, but I really looked up to this guy. I still talk to him to this day. He looked at Oakland, ended up not coming here. I kind of knew Oakland through that. My club coach, his daughter swam here. Christine Seipel swam here, so I had a connection through that. And so I always knew about Oakland. And quite honestly, I never really thought when I started my recruiting search that Oakland was going to be it. I looked at a lot of different schools. Being an Ohio guy, probably the Michigan fans are going to hate this. I looked at Ohio State. I was like, got to be a Buckeye. I went through the phase of I'm going to go down to Florida, and looked at Florida State. I looked at all of these bigger schools and did all my recruiting visits, and it was a lot different then than it is now. But then I came to Oakland. Oakland was my last trip. And I got to meet the guys. I got to talk to Pete even more. I was still sitting. The office I sit in now is where I sat with Pete. I actually found my recruiting information for him in his files after he retired.
No kidding.
Yes, yeah, I saved it. I have it pinboarded back to on my wall. But no, I sat in there and talked with him, and I fell in love with the history. I fell in love with the traditions. I fell in love with what I think Oakland is just a very unique program. And I went home. I think had dinner with my parents Sunday night after I got back, and I was like, I'm going to go to Oakland. And my parents were like, really? I knew instantly, right away. It just kind of left an impression on me, and obviously it still does to this day.
So at that time, I'd imagine the conference winning streak was, I don't want to put the number at it, but now right. It's 47 or
46.
46. Help me out.
Yep, 46. Yep.
So knowing that you're getting into a program that has this historic streak going on, you coming in as a freshman and you led it all 4 years, is there added pressure right away to not mess this up?
Yeah, 100%. But that's what's so cool about it, and I joke with our staff about this, and it's not really a joke, it's true, but I say it all the time, pressure's a privilege, right? If you have pressure within a program, then you have a privilege to be a part of something great, or you have the opportunity to be a part of something great. And that's how I've looked at pressure, and that's how I've tried to internalize pressure, because pressure can really crack a lot of people.
Yeah.
I look at it as more of like, hey, this is an opportunity. And that was Oakland. I mean, for me, it never was like, holy crap, I might lose this thing. It's like, no, I get to be part of this thing, and I'm going to keep it going. And it definitely it's so unique, and to be on both sides is pretty cool. But yeah, it's I never really shied away from it. I loved it.
Was there kind of a big transition period going from high school or club swim to college? Kind of, what's the biggest difference making that transition?
Yeah, I think the biggest transition is, when you're in high school, and typically at this level, everybody's really good at their high school. They're usually the top ones at the high school, top ones in their county or their state. And so then you're jumping on a program where you're not just the top dog anymore. It's everybody's a top dog in that place. And so now you have to not reevaluate, but now you got a whole nother level of competition. And I think that was my biggest transition. I used to come into workouts and have no problem leading workouts within my team and kind of being able to control the pace of the sets and stuff like that. And then you kind of jump in and you're like, holy smokes, they're all really fast.
Yeah,
right?
like you're down in the order for these workouts.
Yeah, and you're racing every single day, and that's what I love it when our freshmen first come in. They're usually racing from the get-go because they know it too. It's like all of a sudden they show up and they're like, there's all these seniors and juniors that are so much better than me, and I gotta prove my point. And so I think that's the biggest transition is it's a whole nother level of competition, and it's every day. It's not just at a meet or going to a national meet. It is at practice all the time.
And then with your time at Oakland, you came away with a fistful of rings, as most swimmers do nowadays, and that going back to that kind of privilege that the program has.
Yeah.
But going through kind of, what can you tell me just about your time as a Golden Grizzly swimmer, kind of competing at those high level meets year in and year out? Kind of, what do you take away from that kind of experience?
Yeah. A lot. I think I take away. I think sometimes it's overshadowed, but I think the ability to walk away with 4 rings, I've realized how important the people you surround yourself with are. And to continue to have success like that, you have to have people on the same page. And by no means were we ever perfect when I was here, but I think I definitely took away that it's never just me. It's never just 2 people. Like, it is a group of people that have to keep something like this going. And I think, we talked about pressure. You're able to learn how to deal with pressure. And that's an everyday thing. And I think at Oakland, I definitely learned how to deal with pressure. And, and again, I think I learned that it's a team thing, and you always need that in life, and have a group of people that are going to help you do something.
For sure. And